All right, guys. Happy Monday, April 27th, 2026, 10:28 local time. How are you guys doing today? Hopefully, all is well. We got a severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Huntington County. Todd says going to be getting good. Um, Todd, a lot of people know me as a realist. I'm going to be disappointing here. So we're going to look at this. It does have a tag for tornado possible on there. We're going to go over what that is and what that means. It's right on the cusp of Wabash County. So LaFontaine, Marion, you guys are in the bullseye on that polygon there. It is a very large polygon. Starting to move a little bit to the northeast as it moves east. We'll get a little bit of a view of what that looks like as it passes through here once this loads up. And then we'll dig in and talk about the radar a little bit. Hopefully you guys are having a good day, but I'm going to be a realist when we get into this. So you can kind of see how it has that maybe I need to go that way, that little bit of a northwestern push. You can see a little bit of a couplet kind of form right in there and then down over in here. So we're going to talk about that a little bit and what some of these definitions mean inside of this severe thunderstorm warning. So what do we have here? We have a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Wabash County, north central Indiana, Grant County, and central Indiana, southwestern Huntington County, and northeastern Indiana, southern Miami County, north central Indiana until 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 10:23 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from near Peru to 7 miles northeast of Kokomo to near Tipton, moving east at 60 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts is the hazard. Radar indicated. Expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. And then it says precautionary preparedness actions. Remain alert for possible tornado. Tornadoes can develop quickly from severe thunderstorms. If you spot a tornado, go at once into the basement or a small central room in a sturdy structure. So what they're talking about on that is, so when you have a southerly flow that's coming up this way, okay, and then we have a front that's kind of doing this, you end up with a circular motion right here, okay? So that's what's causing that tornado possible piece that you see there. And I don't necessarily disagree with them putting that in there. So what's happening with that warm front, as it's kind of draped across right here, you have this southerly push coming up that way. So everything's kind of meeting itself together. I don't necessarily believe anything's going to really come out of it, but we'll stay live and we will keep an eye on it. Rose Stanley says we're not going to get much. It's been raining pretty consistently in northern Huntington County. After this line right here actually moves through the area, it's kind of going to be over after the rest of the rain gets through there. But you can see there's kind of like a bowing front there. So that's going to be pushing through. It's got a lot of wind in there with it as it gets through Grant County there. Brad is not a king. Well, you got a little K in there. I'll take that. Aurora King. I'll do that. How you doing, Doug? So we are going to sit here and we're going to watch this, keep an eye on it. Looks like there might be a little bit of influx right here. So we're just going to keep an eye on that. But the reason that I am the skeptical person right now, we're going to make this a little bigger. We're going to zoom out so it's not as crazy. So you can see all this blue that's up there, minus this little area right here. That's the reason that our main threat right now is wind. So this is called enhanced echotops. It shows what the cloud height is. So we're getting down here, below 30,000 feet. That's when the severity really starts to tank. You can see that the lightning is not as prevalent. Now this storm right here is producing a little bit because it still has those high tops. You can see that here as well. So we can look in the hydrometer and see there is a little bit of hail in there possibly. That could be heavy rain. Most likely heavy rain. We can see that right there. That's your vertically integrated liquid. That's going to be some of that really heavy rain that's going through. We've had those pockets of heavy rain just scooting along that warm front right there. right through Huntington and northern Cass, Wabash, Huntington, into northern Wells and everything like that. So going back into velocity here, like I said, this is the area that we're going to continue to watch here as we have that severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Huntington County that is tagged tornado possible. So I'm going to get my mug out of the way there so you can take a look at the radar for yourself. We are right here. There's Huntington. So the severe thunderstorm warning is that part of our county. So Lancaster, you're in it. LaFontaine, you're in it. Right here. Mount Etna, you are in it. So Gene Landers, if you are in there, if you're on here watching, that is where you are. Monticello, you are done for the night. They just canceled your severe thunderstorm warning. So Monticello right here. And then you can see the severe thunderstorm warning. The watch has been canceled for your area. So anything up here is no longer under a watch. Jim, are you from Monticello? One thing that really, see if we can get this to actually work here. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Storm total accumulation. There we go. So this is rain totals for today as we continue to go through here. Some places have had 3.5 inches of rain today. Huntington, it looks like we've been a little over 1.25 inches. Wabash has had a pocket of 2 right there. Logansport, Deer Creek, all over 2 inches. Down here, Lebanon, Fishers, and everything like that. So it has been an absolute wet day out there. So this is typically an area we would start to watch very closely, just north of Greentown. We got a little couplet there, starting to show some inflow. Possibly another one starting to form here. So we're just going to keep an eye on that. If I was a betting man, I would say this would be the one to watch right there. So we're just going to keep an eye on things. Nothing I'm too terribly worried about. Converse, Swayze, Marion, I would get ready because either way, that's going to be the sirens just stopped in Grant County. So Grant County is, hi, David Yoder. Grant County is one of the counties that do sound the tornado warnings for a severe thunderstorm warning. Why? I don't know. Some counties do that, some don't. I think there needs to be some uniformity there. And I think there needs to be some caution used with the tornado siren so there's not what's the word I'm looking for? Complacency. But counties do their own thing. But that's the reason that the sirens are currently going off or were going off in Grant County. So, all right, things are moving into Wabash County. So we can see we got a little area there. Everything else is pretty gone. So, and I'm not even really worried about that. So we're just going to keep an eye on things as they progress through the county here. Nothing too worrisome at the moment. So you guys have had thunderstorms all day today. So we're pretty well versed. If you're from the northern half of the county, pretty well versed with the thunder and lightning today. And then coming up, we have the last of it. So we were talking a little bit ago about that warm front and kind of why it is the way it is right now. And that's kind of the way this whole system is. It's just that design right there. And that's kind of what's happening and causing everything right now. So if you are anywhere on, let's draw it like this, the back side of that, I would say you're okay. If you're on the front side of that, it's coming yet. So like I said, lightning has calmed down quite a bit. Excuse me. That's still tornado possible, winds at 60 miles per hour. Let's take a look at that actually. There's some possible winds right there. There are some really heavy wind gusts in there, especially down here. We got up in the upper 50s. Not above 50 really yet. So there's a little bit of an update. I was trying to see if I can get a 60 right there, but 57 is about the max. And it looks like that's probably going to be the max area of wind here and here. And then in this area right here, it's just kind of a little squiggly. Tornado possible area to watch is going to be that line that's right there. I covered it. This whole area right here would be something to watch. We're getting a little outside of our radar area for the radar that I'm using. I kind of, for the northern radar, I don't like to kind of go below that. So we can zoom out, we can use another radar, and then we come in here and we can look at it a little differently. So the different colors are the direction that the wind is going to or from the radar. So that's kind of what we watch for. And we can see that there's a little bit of a differentiation down here from what we saw from the north. So once we get down below Kokomo, that's why I like to check both ways just in case. So checking back in where we are, guys, yet again, Huntington County, X marks the spot. That's where we're at. And we are under a severe thunderstorm warning right through here. Mount Etna, you are in the bullseye. LaFontaine starting to get wet. Lancaster. After that, Warren, you're going to be on the hook. Bluffton, Pinedo, Monroe, Decatur, Bern, Geneva, all in for it today. So we're just going to continue to keep an eye on things here. I'm not seeing anything crazy that I'm worried about right now. Hope you guys are all having a good evening. It is confusing. Yeah, it kind of forces you to go have to look at something, and you're like, so am I going to die? We had a chaser, Joseph. He was in Grant County. I think it was last storm. Oh, great. You're in Mount Etna. Right now, I'm not seeing a ton to be really worried about other than the wind, Patty. So we're keeping an eye on it here. So, but you are under severe thunderstorm warning. So Mount Etna, boom, you are right here. So you're right on the northern half of that, or northern corner, sorry. We are keeping an eye on it. So, like I said, you are actually probably in that area of the higher wind right here. So that is some of the higher wind gusts right there. So keep that in mind. That's where that 60 mile per hour wind gusts are seeing that are radar indicated. So keep that in mind. You got a little bit of time if you got to go secure a trash can or whatnot. So Wabash, it's almost through. Wabash is up here. Severe thunderstorm warning is for part of Wabash County. And that is everything right there. So current storm is right here. And if there was anything to worry about, it would be right in this area right there. But there's nothing currently. So it's, like I said, it's just wind. Every post that I made today and yesterday was just about wind. And, possibly some hail, and that possibility is still out there for some small hail. This has less than 3/4 of an inch listed on there. So yeah, so being we don't have any spotters out right now, and it just goes to show that the energy level going into the storm and what I saw coming. Talking to my guys and whatnot. Do you want us to go out? I was like, I wouldn't worry about it. My briefing before this, the Storm Prediction Center adjusted everything, really showed what's happening today. So really kind of happy about that. Yep, go to bed, Mike. It looks like the worst of it's past Wabash at this point. So yeah, they had, I'm just going to kind of zoom out. You're not going to be able to see a lot of things on here. They had their worst tornado pocket up here. And I was like, no, it needs to be down here, and then a bigger one right here. And, that was just for the early part of the storm. And they finally moved it this morning, which made me happy. But, once I made my own little brief, I feel that I did a good job. So they felt comfortable that, we had one asking, he's always roaring and ready to go, but we didn't necessarily need a run out. So good springtime thunderstorm. Now, I don't suppose, just looking at this, I don't think they may special weather statement that. I mean, they might extend that, but, and Patty, if you're still on here, once this gets to you, if you want to tell us what kind of wind you got, that would be awesome. But yeah, we're reading all sub-severe winds at this point, except down here in Marion. So what they may end up doing is cutting that part off. And it may end up just this way. I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see. The town of Huntington is not in the severe thunderstorm warning. So the severe thunderstorm warning, that's the city of Huntington right there. And that is Wabash and Huntington, respectively. Just joined. Is Huntington going to get slammed? It's going to be a thunderstorm. The severe thunderstorm warning is for the southwestern part of Huntington County, right down here, Mount Etna, Lancaster, just that little area. Everything else I'm seeing, you're going to get wind gusts 40 miles per hour, 45 maybe max. But things are really starting to calm down. Let's take a look at our cloud tops here. We're still holding on this little area right here, barely into the 40s now. So as the blue starts to take over on the radar, things really start to fizzle because the storms can't get up into the upper atmosphere to really take over. So I'd like to know what that interference is. There's something in this area right here that causes interference on the radar. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, that is this little swath of pie right here. So I don't know what that is. Anyway. Oh, look at that. Italy joined the chat. If you guys are geography geeks here, we got Italy right there. Lightning, but no wind. Where's Mount Etna? Oh, it's just because it's just now starting to get there, but the wind has shifted a little bit. So probably going to be a lot lighter. I'm looking 35 to 40 probably. You're at the calm before the storm. So if you're in Mount Etna, I'm assuming you're probably on the east side of 9. So there's 9 right there, and there's 124. The storm's still right here. So it's getting there. I only update once a minute. So it could be just a hair bit further than that. I think this was moving at 60 miles an hour. 65 now. 65. The area to watch now, you can see, is down here towards Marion. But like I want to mention, we're about right in that cutoff line. So I'd have to verify that with the other radar as well. So definitely a lot of rain and everything in there. It's going to get wet. So hydrometer, this shows hail. I would probably say that's mostly rain. Could be hail. Could be some hail. But if I remember right, the clouds aren't tall enough. Kinda. Could be. Very well could be. So really what kind of killed this for the day is this right here out in front. And the rain that came through earlier really soaked things in. It sure is. And when that happens, you get what's called moisture inversion. And yeah, things just kind of get sucker punched. So they have not extended this yet. For Southern Miami County is canceled. So they have canceled the back half of it. There it is. And they're staying up on it today. Good job, guys. We are almost there. Yeah, Patty, I'm not seeing that heavy wind that we were seeing earlier, which is good. It moved kind of south. So like I said, there's Mount Etna. I'm not complaining. But there's some pretty good winds down here. Yeah, so I think if I'm right, which I might be, I'm not going to float my boat here, but I would assume the next polygon, if there is one, would probably be like that. If not a little bit more extended, they might take that all the way over to the Ohio border there. Linda Bowman also in Mount Etna. We got Melissa in Magenica. I always forget about Magenica. I'm so sorry. Magenica's on 5. It doesn't even show. It doesn't even show Magenica on there. Let's see. Memory serves me right. Magenica is about right there. So you should be hearing the thunder, but it shouldn't be raining yet. It's getting very close, though. Mount Etna, you are, for the most part, through the heavy part of whatever wind was there. Now you're dealing with the rain. It is kind of still out, yes. It's not going to get as buck wild as it did probably this morning as with the wind and whatnot. Look at that. We still got Italy on the map there. I didn't know if you guys were wanting to travel to the Mideast, but there you go. Europe, whatever. Yeah, I bet it's coming down pretty good. We can actually switch over to the specific differential phase. So that right there is a phenomenal amount of moisture that's probably just absolutely pouring. So if you guys don't know what the radars that I look at, so this, the right side there is velocity. That tells me the wind speed, the wind direction, and what the storms are doing internally. And then this over here shows me the precipitation rate. It's not really showing what it is, but more like the density of the rain. So you can see behind that, we have that little line where we have that 7 right there. And then we have that big pocket of moisture right behind it. So once we get through this first initial line here, which it's almost, we're almost completely inundated in Huntington. But once we get through there, Andrews, it's going to start raining here pretty quick. But once we get through this part, we're going to have some showers. We're going to have some occasional lightning. This could be some pretty good sleeping rain. What? No way. So Van Buren. If you're down around Van Buren, storm's getting ready to start there now. Well, it's crossing 69, so getting really close. You're 2 miles south of Mount Etna, and it is pouring. I absolutely bet. So that would put you probably somewhere before the curve, I'd assume. No, that'd probably be after. Probably somewhere in here. Now, this could be a little wrong, but somewhere in here, I would say it's absolutely pouring. We showed that. Hey, look at that. I was right-ish. I don't know why they did it like that. Why? All right, guys. Looks like we're staying on for a little bit longer. Still, tornado possible for this. Severe thunderstorm warning expires in 35 minutes. Severe thunderstorms are along a line extending from Andrews to 9 miles south of Huntington to near Fairmount, moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, radar indicated, and stay prepared for a possible tornado. So we're going to talk about it again. That's probably what they're talking about. I agree. Linda Bowman said it's pouring. Warren just got the severe thunderstorm warning. That is correct. So we are currently watching. I'm going to look at a couple different rates of velocity here. So this is what they're looking at. There's probably a couple different points on why they're doing a tornado possible. Would be that area there and that area there. So this area, I wouldn't worry about it. Anything in front of that, definitely. We'll keep an eye on it. But I think that polygon is a little bigger than it needs to be. I think it needs to be cut off about right there. But they're saying it's moving northeast, right? Kind of like that. So let's see what it's doing here. That's a pretty good arrow, except it's going more east. So maybe something like that. Anyway, so we're going to keep an eye on this here. So Huntington, it is about to come into you, Huntington proper. Take time to fill the tube. Roanoke, you are next on the batting. You're on deck. You know what you're looking at. Go look at your radar. Oh, the tub. So Mount Etna, it's past you, Patty. At this point, you're here. Anything that could happen is past you at this point. Joseph's in his basement, which it's always good to take shelter during a severe thunderstorm warning, especially one with the potential to have tornado consequences. So like I said, if there is anything to watch, this is the area to watch right here. And that's what we're keeping an eye on. So Warren, you are next on deck for that. So you can kind of see, watch that area right here on your screen. You can kind of see it. I mean, it's very, very broad. So, you know, when I look for rotation and then I look for it on this map, I'm looking for a size like this. I want to see it tight, you know, if it's something I'm going to be worried about. But this could tighten up and wrap up and rock and roll. Oh, that's where your bedroom is. You're on wells, so if you lose power, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, so you guys could see the backside of this here is where there's another wind bag. So we are under wind advisory as well until 2 a.m. Wind is Huntington in the clear. This severe thunderstorm warning goes for another 32 minutes. Huntington proper is not in it. It is the southern and eastern part of the county. So you can see the actual city limits here. Here's the airport. So anything that way and east. But like I said, this is what we're watching. It's traveling northeast heading that way. So, Warren, it's right on your doorstep. Give me 1 second, guys. Your sirens are going here in Danville. All right, Danville. Really? All right, guys, give me just 1 second for Mr. John Lane over here. He's the man of the hour. I don't. It's working on hitting Huntington right now. I see it over towards Mooresville, Greenwood, but I don't see anything up towards you. It's all past you at this point, John, from what I can see. That's weird that your sirens would be going off right now. All right, guys. So, Warren, you are right here. Sorry, it's a small dot, but it's a small town. It is right on your doorstep. Justin. You rang. I wouldn't worry about it. Warren, give it about 10 minutes. I wouldn't worry about it. This is not a whole lot going on in there. Montpelier, I would say I would use a little caution down in that area. So you can see this little couplet right here. That's something to keep an eye on. So we'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, it seems like it's kind of just a washout. Warren, you are in it right now, it seems. That is the area that we're still keeping an eye on. No, it was heavy rain. It's pouring and lightning really bad. The clouds are wicked when the lightning hits. Oh, I bet. That's affirmative. So Huntington proper. So you're up in this area. Let's take a look, see what the clouds kind of look like here. Yeah, not a whole lot going on up there. All right, they just canceled part of that severe thunderstorm warning. All that remains is this guy right here for Huntington. So down around Warren, though, that's where we're really starting to watch some of that really heavy precipitation down there. And some wind. Other than that, that's about it, guys. You know, they haven't canceled any of the severe thunderstorm watches to our west yet. But after this goes through, we are in the clear for the night. So you can see we got this guy right here. That if you are in that, just be careful this evening. Pay attention to what's going on around you. It is tornado possible. Main threat is 60-mile-per-hour winds. So we are definitely paying attention to that, especially this little thing going on right there. So I like to do that and draw on these maps because I can come back, circle that area, and then realize, hey, that's nothing I need to really worry about. It is lightning like crazy in Warren. Beautiful. Actually, to see, though. Yeah, I can see that there's quite a few lightning flashes in Warren right now. Looks like quite a few in Huntington right now. But the main, you can see the main little piece right there, just north of Warren. about to go over 69. Well, it's probably over 69 at this point. But yeah, nothing really crazy going on, guys. They just put out a precipitation discussion. It's just these are really wet systems that are coming through. Is it possible for a tornado here in Huntington? No, that is southern Huntington and eastern Huntington. Excuse me. So Markle, Lancaster, Warren, and then Wells County, and so on and so forth. Down near Greenwood, we got a tornado warning. It is radar indicated. But we can kind of come out and look. This was full tornado warnings and everything earlier. It's really starting to scatter out. And they're using more broad severe thunderstorm warnings as this becomes a linear line. So a linear line, which is a little less threatening for tornadoes, means you have a long line of thunderstorms, right? What I look for issues is when you have these clusters, but we don't have that. So, which I'm thankful for. Oh, I bet you can. The sheets of rain, I can believe it. So you're in Warren, is that right? Yeah. So you can see that line right there. And that's just a protruding, just pounding wall right there. I mean, it's just, you go from zero to hero real quick with that rain. And then as soon as it hits you, it's over. We'll call it the ex-wife. So Huntington, you're going to be getting into the lighter rain at this point as it starts to move out of the county. It is halfway through at this point. So let's draw a line through the county here, this way and that way. So we have up here, we have a little bit of rain, and then it kind of comes down like that. So almost through. It's nice to be able to see that at night with the lightning. Yeah, pinkish purple here in Huntington with lightning. If you want, I can try to send a video if I can. I wouldn't risk it if it's coming down to the ground, just in case. So you can see we're getting a little bit more lightning back over here. Now that lightning's probably going to happen because the clouds are dropping. All right, guys, things are quickly moving out of the area. So we have the edge of Huntington County right there. Warren, you should be in the clear at this point. Roanoke still getting pretty well hammered by some rain and some wind. Overall, pretty boring for us as storm chasers. So you guys can probably understand why we didn't go out and chase that. We can see that there was a significant reduction now in that watch area. And I don't know why they didn't reduce it any further than that, but they will, I promise. All right, guys. Well, things are starting to button up down here. We can see that they have extended that tornado warning down in the Indianapolis area down by Greenwood. It is not observed. Let's see. So this is a terrible example, but you can kind of see it right there. Very broad rotation, nothing to really get excited about and write home about, but they're obviously concerned about it. So let's take a look at this in view here and see. Yeah, I can kind of see it. So as this cycles here, you're looking at that track right there. So, I mean, it's definitely not on the ground. I can tell you that. So, all right. Well, guys, at that, I'm going to hippity hoppity off here. Things have moved out of the county. That severe thunderstorm warning has 18 minutes left. For southeastern Wabash County is canceled. For Huntington County it's right on its doorstep. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. Hancock. Oh, that's that county down there, right? I don't remember where. Charlottesville. Hancock, Charlottesville. That is. Can I search? Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second here. There's a way I can search. It's just I'm not very good on the cuff. There it is. Oh, yeah, Greenfield. Yeah, I know where that's at. Yeah, Greenfield is... Oh, there it is. Charlottesville. I see it. I knew Hancock sounded familiar. I worked in Greenfield for a little bit. So that looks like it would probably stay south of all of that, to be honest with you. Yeah, Morristown, Carthage, Louisville. I'd put that more in the path for that, if that makes sense. All right, that has been cut back even more. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off here for this evening unless anybody has any other questions. I enjoyed talking to you all tonight. Anytime, Melissa. I enjoy doing this. I've studied for many years to be able to help, and I enjoy it. So hopefully you guys enjoy and I don't talk too much. I know I am full of words. Some of it's not wisdom. So, all right, guys. Well, have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I appreciate every single one of you. And I look forward to working with you through the next storm. So have a good evening, and we'll see you next time.